This video will help you prepare for your summary and interpretive response on the extra large please article that you read. To do that, we're going to use the drug altered consciousness outline as an example. You'll be using your own edited outline for the extra large please reading for your assignment. Okay, let's start with your blue book. And I have a note in green that the blue books are due either day this week. If you want to put this week's entries in a new blue book, that's probably better because it's getting full. But you can use separate paper for this week's entries, and then when you get your blue book back next week, you can just attach them wherever they would be with tape or however you want to do it. So go ahead and make an entry for blue book number 16. And the topic is an interpretive response versus a summary. In class, we'll be going over what a summary contains. And as a quick review, a summary is simply a shortened version of your original text, but it contains only the main ideas and relevant major details. On the left, I have a summary checklist, highlighted blue, and this is what we will be going over during class. You can look at yours. Basically, a summary statement, introductory statement in a summary, is going to include the name of the article, the author, the genre, which is the type of writing, article, chapter, editorial, a strong verb, and then the central point or thesis of that overall article. So we'll look at the drug altered consciousness and compare it to this summary checklist right now. So we take our outline, and we can see our main points here are going to be motives, the drugs have changed, and then at the end, scientists know more about the effects. Okay, so when I do a summary, all I have to do is take that outline that I've written, or if I didn't write an outline, I would annotate it directly on the reading, and put that into an article. This is a single article, so I'm covered just by mentioning the author's name as far as not plagiarizing. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull that summary up. Okay, here's an example of what the summary would look like for drug altered consciousness. My introductory statement is here, and notice the title of the article is there. Nowadays we pretty much italicize everything. The author, in this case there's two, and genre would be the article. Action verb would be they discuss. You don't want to just simply say the article is about. It's a little bit weaker writing, not that you can't do that, but a stronger verb would be something like discuss, share, point out. And then the central point of the article was that the drugs situation is different today. Okay, when you do your summary, you make sure you have all the points included. You also use transitions. So here I brought out the introduction, that they defined it. That's a little bit of background information which works. First major difference, there you go. That's a transition. Second way, transition. While alcohol has definitely become stronger, but many now, that looks like a transition too. And here's finally. So you may have some transitions for your bigger details. Your 3 right here, this is just a minor transition, so if I take that out, these are the 3 right here. So you've got your motives, your first major support, the drug themselves have changed, and scientists today know more. Okay. A summary does not include your own ideas. You shouldn't have personal comments. And because it's not your ideas, you need to reference the author. So the author here, I already said that it's Morris and Albert. Here's my they. That's the authors right there. Notice Morris and Maestro. Maestro, yeah. And there's a they cite. They say the authors. Okay, don't call them, what's their names, Charles and Albert. You're not that friendly with them. You can refer to them simply by their last name. Okay, that's a quick review of what your summary has. Now, the most common reading assignment is going to be a typical summary response. And what you need to do whenever you're doing a summary response is carefully look and see what is your instructor expecting from your response. So I'm giving you a very typical one, but always read your directions and your grading criteria very carefully. Okay, that's my comment here. Contents vary greatly depending on the type of assignment. Okay, generally though, when you're responding, you can share your opinion, but you're in college, so you don't want to just say, yeah, man, I agree with the author, because you're not really contributing anything that shows that you're thinking critically or that you're connecting and working beyond the text. So the key thing is that your response shows some type of insight beyond the author's ideas already stated, but triggered from those ideas. So insight means you're thinking more deeply, you're connecting to them. So that's showing a more interpretive level, which you make connections through. And those connections might be other parts of the reading. It could be a previous chapter, it could be lecture notes, other texts, maybe you've been assigned research, and sometimes it's just common knowledge. And things that are obviously common knowledge do not need to be cited as a source. So if you know that many teenagers are smoking today, that's common knowledge. You could strengthen it with research, but for my case here, we're just going to trust you that you know that. Okay, at a higher level, this response is actually applying the knowledge and making some type of conclusion, predicting possible effects, possibly going beyond. It all depends on just how insightful you are. So that may or may not be there. Okay, other things, everything you say needs to focus on the central point of the article. It's really easy to get off topic, but depending on what the author has asked for. So here it's talking about how drugs have changed, and depending on where these details came, you may be focusing on one. For the sake of length today, I'm going to simply focus on today's use and look at one area connected to how we know more and yet people use them anyways. Still, that overall, that's going to be the same. Okay, you're still going to use transitions. You want to use I minimally, although in my model today, because I'm citing experience from high school, I'll put I, and we can talk about how we can lessen that. Okay, one thing you are not going to get credit for the assignments that we're doing is simply saying you agree with the article, or no, I didn't like that article. I know often instructors will say, what do you think? But that's not showing any critical thinking if you just say, hey, I don't agree with them. So we're going to completely leave that out for the assignments you're doing for me. Okay, and whenever possible, refer directly back to the author and specific details in the text.